QSC YouTube channel. Today I'll be explaining the chapter 2 T questions for grade 11 pure math. Let's go. Okay. Find the first three terms in the expansion of x minus 4 to the 15 in descending powers of x. Okay, so the binomial theorem k, we start from k is 0 till n. So k is equal to 0 till n, which is the power. And then nck times a to the n minus k b to the k. Now let's start. Find the first three terms in the expansion. Okay, first let's identify a and b. X is a and negative 4, the entire thing is b. So we start from 15c0 and then x to the power of 15 minus 0, which is 15, times negative 4 to the 0 plus 15c1 x to the 14, which is 15 minus 1, times negative 4 to the 1 plus 15c2 x to the 13 times negative 4 squared. 15c0 is 1 and negative 4 to the 0 is also 1, so x to the 15 plus 15c1 times negative 4, right? 15c1 times negative 4 is negative 60 to the 4, negative 60x to the 14, and then we're gonna do 15c2 times 16. 15c2 times 16, which is 1680 x to the 13. We have part A done. Find the value of m for which there is no term involving x to the 14. So since there is no term involving x to the 14, so the sum of all, like, let's say ax to the 14 would be equal to 0, right? Okay. And then they want us to distribute 1 plus mx. 1 plus mx. Now, for what we distribute like what we make, what turns into x to the 14 after distributing. So x to the 15, we ignore it. And then we distribute 1 to the negative 60x to the 14. And then to make 1680x to the 13 into x to the 14, we multiply it by mx. So plus 1680 mx to the 14. As we said, it's gonna give us, like, if we add them together, we're gonna get 0. Then we're gonna get m is equal to 1 over 28. Number 20. The first three terms in the expansion of a2 plus ax to the n, the ascending powers of x, are 128 minus 112 plus bx squared. Find the values of n, a, and b. Okay, let's start. So first again, we're gonna start off with the rule. We have, we don't, okay, first let's start with NC0, right? We were trying to find the power. So NC0 times 2 to the n, and then into AX to the 0, which is 1 at this point, is equal to 128. And then you plug this into the calculator. NC, like anything C0, so let's say 6C0 for example, is 1. So 1 times 2 to the n, so 2 to the n is 128. 2 to the n is equal to 128. Then we're gonna solve it on the calculator. We are going to get that n is equal to 2, 4, 8. N is going to be equal to 7. So now we can substitute n here by 7. Now let's move on to the next term so we can find a. Okay. So if 128 was when k is 0, so negative 112 will be when k is 1. Okay. So 2 to the 6 into ax to the 1 is equal to negative 112x. So we're gonna get what 7c1 7 times 2 to the 6, so 448 ax is equal to negative 112x. You're gonna get a is equal to negative 0.25. So now let's substitute a by negative 0.25, or negative 1 over 4. Then we're gonna move on to the next term, which is bx squared. We're gonna remove this as well. So when it's bx squared, k is 2. So 7c2 times 2 to the 5 times negative 1 over 4 squared is equal to bx squared. So 7c2 times 2 to the 5 divided by or multiplied by 1 over 4 squared, which is, okay, so again 21, we're gonna wait 21 times, we're gonna get 672 times 1 over 4 squared, which is 1 over 16 x squared, is equal to bx squared. We're gonna get b is equal to 42. Now we move on to number 21. Question 21. Find the first three terms in the expansion of x squared plus 2 to the 15 in descending powers of x. Hence, find the coefficient of x to the 30 in the expansion of x squared plus 3 all of that squared times x squared plus 2 to the 15. You bring the question over to a new page. And let's put it. Okay, again, 15c0, we're gonna start with when k is 0, times x squared to the 15 times 2 to the 0 plus 15c1 x squared to the 14 times 2, wait, times 2 to the 1, which is 2, it doesn't matter, plus 15c2 x squared to the 13 into 2 squared. And then let's simplify. So x to the 30 plus 15c1 times 2, 30x to the 28 plus 15c2 times 4, which is, oh wait, I forgot to multiply. Never mind. And then plus 15c2 times 4, which is 420 x to the 26. And then they want the coefficient of x to, okay, by the way, if we're done with this, we're done with part A. Hence, find the coefficient of x to the 30 in the expansion of x squared plus 3 all of that squared. And then let's simplify x squared plus 3 all of that squared, which is x to the 4 plus 6x squared plus 9. Here they want x to the 30, so 9 times x to the 30, 6x squared plus 30x to the 28, x to the 4 times 420 x to the 26. So again, 9x to the 30 plus 6x squared times 30x to the 28 is equal to 180x to the 30. And then you add 420x to the 30, which will give you 609x to the 30, but they want the coefficient, so it's just 609. Let me just write it. Okay, now we move on to question 22. Find the first three terms in the expansion of 3 plus 2x to the 6 in ascending powers of x. Hence find the value of a constant a, which there is no term in x squared in the expansion of 2 plus ax into 3 plus 2x to the 6. Okay, again, it's basically like part A. So let's solve. And then we're gonna start with 6c0, 3 to the 6 times 2x to the 0 plus 6c1, 3 to the 5 times 2x plus 6c2, 3 to the 4 times 2x, all of that squared. So we have first of all 3 to the 6, which is 729, plus 6c1 times 3 to the 5 times 2x, which is 2916x, plus 6c2 times 3 to the 4 times 4x squared, which is 4860 x squared. And again, they want where there is no term in x squared, so sigma ax squared is equal to 0. Like this, we're done with part A. And then we're gonna need to multiply it by 2 plus ax. 2 plus ax. So we're gonna distribute the 2 into 4860 x squared. So 4860 times 2, which is 9720. So 9720 x squared plus 2916 ax squared. Ax squared. Again, that's equal to 0. Then we're gonna plug this into the calculator, but instead of x squared, you can substitute x by any number. Let's say 1 to make it easier. So 9720 times 1 squared plus 2916 times 1 squared times a is equal to 0. You're gonna get a is gonna be negative 10 over 3. A is equal to negative 10 over 3. Number 23. Find the first three terms in the expansion of 1 over x minus 3x to the 15 in ascending powers of x. So 15c0 x to the x to the negative 15 times negative 3x to the 0 plus 15c1 Look, the reason why it's x to the negative 15 is because it's x is in the denominator, so we just take the opposite of like the sign we originally get. So here 15c1, it would be x to the negative 14 times negative 3x to the 1 plus 15c2 x to the negative 13 times negative 3x all of it squared. So, and then we're just gonna simplify. We're gonna get x to the negative 15 plus 15c1 times negative 3, which will give us negative 45, and then we add powers, so negative 45 over x to the negative 14 times x to the 1, so negative 45 over x to the 13, or negative 45 times x to the negative 13 plus 15c2 times 9, which is 945 so x squared times x to the negative 13, which is x to the negative 11. And then that's correct for part A. And then find the coefficient of x to the negative 15 in the expansion of 2 plus 3 over x squared. So we're gonna multiply it by the equation we have here. 2 plus 3 over x squared. Let me erase all of this. Right. And now let's distribute what we can make into x to the negative 15. So here we have 2 times x to the negative 15. So 2x to the negative 15 plus, and then 3 over x squared times negative 45 x to the negative 13, which means just negative 45 times 3, which is negative 135 x to the 15. And that's all that we can make into x to the negative 15. So then we're gonna add 2 minus 135, which will give us negative 133 x to the negative 15. Find the first three terms of in the expansion of 1 plus ax to the 15 in ascending powers of x. Okay, so gonna start with 15c0, 1 to the 15, ax to the 0, plus 15c1, 1 to the 14, times ax to the 1, plus 15c2, 1 to the 13, times ax squared. So all of this will be equal to 1 plus 15ax plus 15c2, which is 105 a squared x squared. 105 a squared x squared. Okay. Given that there is no term involving x in the expansion of 1 minus 3x into 1 plus ax to the 15. Okay. And then here we're gonna, so this means that the summation of everything related to x is equal to 0. All of that times 1 minus 3x. And then now we will distribute to everything that has x, just x, not x squared, x. So 1 times 15ax squared is 15ax, 1 times 15ax is 15ax minus 3x is equal to 0. Again, you can substitute x by 1 and whatever. You're gonna find out that a is equal to 1 over 5. Okay, now for part B, for this value of a, find the coefficient of x squared. So now let's substitute anything by a by 0.2. So 15 times 0.2 is 3. And then 105 times 0.2 squared is 4.2. Then again we're gonna need to distribute and then find the coefficient of x squared. So again, we're gonna distribute this like this. Wait, let me remove this a squared. Negative 3x with 3x, and then 1 with 4.2x squared. So negative 9x squared plus 4.2x squared is equal to negative 9 plus 4.2 is equal to negative 4.8x squared, and they want the coefficient, which means it's just negative 4.8. And 25, find the terms involving x and x squared in the expansion of expansion of 1 minus 4 over 3x to the 15. Okay, so let's start with, they want only with x and x squared, which means when k is 1 and when k is 2. So 15c1 1 to the 14 times negative 4 over 3x to the 1 plus 15c2 1 to the 13 times negative 4 over 3 x all of it squared. And then let's simplify. So 15c1 times negative 4 over 3 is negative 20x plus 15c2 times 4 over 3 squared, negative 4 over 3x squared, which is 16 over 9x squared, which is 560 over 3x squared. And then again, so that's correct. So we're done with part A. And then for part B, they want summation of, let's say, a, and then x squared is equal to 0. So we're gonna have to distribute this with m plus 14x. Then now let's simplify. (14x) with negative 20x, which is negative 280. Right, 20 times 14, yeah, negative 280x squared plus 560 over 3 mx squared, all of that is equal to 0. And then again you're gonna substitute x by 1, so negative 280 plus 560 over 3x is equal to 0. Shift solve, you're gonna get that m is 3 over 2. M is 3 over 2. Question 26. The coefficient of x cubed in the expansion of x plus 2a to the power of 5 plus 1 minus 3x to the 6, where a is a negative integer, is 100. Find the value of a. So basically what they're saying is x, since they said a is a negative integer, so that means we can simply say x minus 2a to the 5 plus 1 minus 3x to the 6, and they want the x cubed term is equal to, like they said the coefficient of x cubed is 100. They just want a is equal to 100 x cubed. Now look, let's start with x minus 2a on one side. We want when, okay, wait. How am I gonna solve this? Said they want it to be 100x cubed, which means that they just want the power of x here to be 3, which means we want k to be, so like x to the power of, since x is a n minus k, so n minus k is equal to 3, right? We have n is 5, so 5 minus k is 3, so k is 2. So 5c2 into x cubed times negative 2a squared plus, now let's move on to the other one, 1 minus 3x to the 6, and then this time again same thing, so negative again, so x to the 6 minus k is equal to 3, k is equal to 3. So again we're going to do the same thing, 6c3 into 1 cubed times negative 3x cubed is equal to 100x cubed, plus all of that, of course, like from here. So 5c2 times negative 2a, all of that squared, which is plus 40a squared x, 40a squared x cubed. So now we can erase this and let's solve. So 6c3 is 20 times negative 27 because of negative 3x cubed, so negative 540x cubed minus 540x cubed. Now we can factor x cubed, so x cubed x cubed into 40a squared minus 540 is equal to 100 x cubed. We can cancel x cubed here and x cubed here, so 40a squared minus 640 is equal to 0. Plug this into the calculator, 153 40 0 negative 640, you'll get a is 4 and negative 4, so a is equal to plus minus 4, and they said a is a negative integer, a is negative, so that means a is equal to negative 4. Number 28, oh, wait, never mind. Number 27. Find the first three terms in the expansion of x minus 2 to the 15 in descending powers of x. Again, same thing. 15c0 times x to the 15 times negative 2 to the 0 plus 15c1 times x to the 14 times negative 2 to the 1 plus 15c2 x to the 13 times negative 2 squared. Then let's simplify. 15c0 is 1 times negative 2 to the 0, which is 1, so we're gonna have x to the 15 plus 15c1 15c1 is 15 times negative 2, negative 30. So x to the 15 minus 30 x to the 14 plus 15c2, which is 105 times negative 2 squared, which is 420 x to the 13 and that's how we have part A done. Given that the coefficient of x to the 15 in the expansion of 30 minus 25x plus ax squared into x minus 2 to the 15 is negative 60, find the value of the constant a. All of this multiplied by 30 minus 25x plus ax squared. So here we only care about x to the 15. So we're gonna distribute. So 30x to the 15 negative 25x times negative 30x to the 14. So 25 times 30, which is plus 750x to the 15 plus 420 ax to the 15. All of that is equal to negative 60 x to the 15. You can factor out the negative x to the 15, so it doesn't matter. And then this is what we would get. So 30 plus 750 plus 420x is equal to negative 60. We're gonna get a is equal to negative 2. That's number 27 done. Number 28. Find in terms of the non-zero constant m the first 4 terms in the expansion of m plus x to the 20 in ascending powers of x. Okay. So first we're gonna start off with 20c0. So 20c0 m to the 20 minus 0, which is m to the 20 times x to the 0 plus 20c1 m to the 19 times x plus 20c2 m to the 18 times x squared plus 20c3 m to the 17 times x cubed. Let's simplify. So for the first term we have m to the 20. For the second term we have 20c1, which is 20 times m to the 19 times x, which is 20 m to the 19 x plus 20c2, which is 190 m to the 18 x squared plus 20 c3, which is 1140 plus 1140 m to the 17 x cubed. So now that we're done with this, they said given that the coefficient of x squared and x cubed in the expansion are equal, find the value of. Okay, so we can say 190 m to the 18 is equal to 1140 m to the 17. We can cancel out m to the 17 on both sides, so we're gonna have 1140 is equal to 190 m. And then plug this into the calculator, so 1140 is equal to 190x. We're gonna get m is equal to 6. Number 29. And the expansion of the expansion of 1 plus ax to the 10, where a is constant, the coefficient of x is negative 20. Find the coefficient of x cubed. Okay, simply, first we need to find a. So that means to find a, we're gonna need to find when the coefficient of x, which means that k is 1. So 10c1 1 to the 9 times ax to the 1 is equal to negative 20x. So 10ax is equal to negative 20x. You get a is equal to negative 2. So negative 2. And now they want the coefficient of x cubed, which is when k is 3. So again, 10c3 1 to the 7 negative 2x cubed, which will give us 10c3 is 120. So 120 times negative 8, which is negative 960 x cubed. For the second last question of this video, question 30, find the first three terms in the expansion of 1 minus 2x cubed, all of that to the power of 10 in ascending powers of x. Find the coefficient of x to the 6 in the expansion of 3 minus 4x cubed times 1 minus 2x cubed to the 10. Okay, so for the first three terms, we're going to start when k is 0, so 10c0, 1 to the 10 times negative 2x cubed to the 0 plus 10c1 1 to the 9 negative 2x cubed to the power of 1 plus 10c2 times 1 to the 8 times negative 2x cubed, all of that squared. So 10c0 plus 1 to the 10 times negative 2x cubed to the power of 0 is 1. So 1 plus 10c1 is 10. 10 times negative 2x cubed, which is negative 20x cubed, plus 10c2, which is 45, times negative 2x cubed, all of that squared, so 45 times 4, 180, x to the 6. And that's part A done. Now for part B. Find the coefficient of x to the 6 in the expansion of 3 minus 4x cubed into what we got in part A. 3 minus 4x cubed. And then again we're gonna distribute, so negative 4x cubed times negative 20x cubed is equal to 80x cubed. 80x to the 6 plus 3 times 1, 80x to the 6, which is 3 times 1, 80, plus 540x to the 6, which is equal to 620x to the 6, which is the answer. Now for the final question of this video, find the first 3 terms in expansion of 3 plus u to the 5 in ascending powers of x. Okay. Find the first 3 terms. So 5c0 times 3 to the 5 u to the 0 plus again 5c1 times 3 to the 4 times u plus 5c2 3 to the 3 times u squared. And again, we're gonna simplify. So 5c0 is 1, so 3 to the 5 is 243. 243 plus 5c1 times 3 to the 4. So 5 times 3 to the 4 is 405 u plus 5c2, which is 10. 10 times 27, which is 3 cubed, is 270 u squared. And that's part A done. Use the substitution of u is equal to x squared plus x to the 4 and your answer to part A to find the coefficient of x to the 4. Okay, so 243 plus 405 into x squared plus x to the 4. Here we're just substituting u by 4, nothing much. Plus 270 into x squared plus x to the 4, all of that squared. Then let's simplify. We're gonna ignore 243 since we don't need it. So 405 x squared plus 405 x to the 4 plus 270 into x to the 4 plus 2ab, which is 2 times x squared times x to the 4, which is 2x to the 6, plus x to the 4 times x to the 4, all of that squared, which we multiply powers, plus x to the 8. Here they just want the coefficient of x to the 4, so let's ignore this. Let's ignore this and ignore this. So 405 x to the 4 plus 270 x to the 4 is equal to, so on the calculator, 405 plus 270 is equal to 675 x to the 4. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. We wish you guys the best of luck in your periodics, finals, CAs, and every exam you get. And goodbye.